Back here on CBS Sports HQ, taking a look at our updated MLB Power Rankings. The Tigers remain in that top spot as they still haven't lost more than 3 straight all season as they ended their 3-game losing streak Sunday. The Dodgers move up 2 spots to number 2, as you see there, followed by a hot and cold Phillies team as of lately who made a jump 3 spots. For much more on our MLB Power Rankings, let's go ahead and welcome in Will Middlebrooks and Julian McWilliams for more. Gentlemen, great to see you. Let's go ahead and begin here with the Dodgers and Shohei Otani. Otani, who is now the current significant favorite to win his 4th MVP award. His odds, Will, overwhelmingly shorter than any other player, with some sports books I've seen listing him as low as -500. But are we surprised?
No, we're not surprised. And he's a big-time favorite, no doubt. But if things continue how they're going for Pete Crow-Armstrong, you're going to think maybe he'll get a handful of first-place votes. But I'm curious to see how Otani's pitching program progresses. He's made 2 starts, each just 1 inning apiece. He finally looked better in his last one. And part of this earlier-than-expected return was out of necessity because they have 14 pitchers on the IL, 8 of those starters, so they need innings, even if it's 1 at a time and gradually building him up into these games. But offensively, let's be honest, I mean, he's pacing 50-plus homers and 100 RBIs, all while eventually making actual starts on the mound. And I think, and Julian can attest to this, I think we've all become pretty numb to what he is. And it's still absolutely insane to me what he's able to do at the highest level of the sport.
I agree with Will. When you talk about athletes, I mean, he's like the dynamic athlete. I always say he's like Calvin Johnson on a baseball field. And you all know what Calvin Johnson was on the football field. So, I mean, look, he's leading the NL in slugging. He's leading the NL in OPS. And then to piggyback off what Will said, he's going to be pitching, right? And it's not an easy thing to do. Those are basically 2 different sports that he's playing. I don't think people understand that. Like, those are 2 different body movements, 2 different totally just mechanical movements. So the fact that he's able to do that, I think is pretty special.
Let's get elsewhere and check in with the Brewers, who have won 4 straight. Thank you notes, I think, can be sent out to Jacob Misiokowski, who made a big splash in his MLB debut. Julian, what was going through your head while really watching that run that was unlike any other to begin an MLB career?
It's dynamic, right? I mean, you're thinking about this guy and you're saying, like, whoa, the ability to throw first pitch strikes. I think he throws that at first pitch strikes 51% of the time. Will knows the Red Sox always talk about count leverage. Well, he's the epitome of that. And plus, you match that with his height. And oh, by the way, he's only 23 years old. And I think the Brewers, they're just a team that's this model of consistency. They become sort of, to me, the Cleveland Guardians of the National League, with the way they just do what they have, the way they pitch, the way they move runners over. I think you're looking at a team that's going to be here for the foreseeable future, and a lot of it has to do with this guy.
Yeah, we're looking forward to watching it. Now, we mentioned just a moment ago that Shohei Otani continues to make history, but another guy who is turning some heads is Mariners' Raleigh, who posted his MLB leading 31st home run. It's not even the All-Star break, Will. How is he doing it?
It's been crazy. And we were just in Seattle at the beginning of this West Coast trip, and he's unbelievable. I mean, every home run he hits from now until the All-Star break, he's rewriting history books. And as of June 19th, he set the record for home runs by catchers before the All-Star break, passing who else? Johnny Bench, one of the, if not the best catcher of all time, especially offensively. And then the next day, he's the first switch hitter to reach 30 home runs before the break. And that's kind of crazy to think about because Mickey Mantle was a switch hitter, and he never did it. So that's pretty cool to see a catcher on pace for 65 homers. Now, I guess the question is how sustainable is it? Is it sustainable at all? And it's really hard for me to see him keep up this pace, not because I don't think he's a good enough hitter, because he absolutely is, but because of the physical toll it takes on a catcher, on the human body. As he catches so many games. He's a platinum glover back there. And Seattle's going to be in the wild card mix likely until the last week of the season. That's just how they do things there. It's always right there towards the end of the season. And they're going to need him to catch down the stretch in September just about every day because they're a better team with him behind the plate. So I don't see him getting as many days at the DH spot. And at some point physically, it starts to take a toll.
To add on to what Will says, and just the mind-boggling stats, he has the most homers since Barry Bonds and Luis Gonzalez before the All-Star break. I mean, you're talking about sluggers, right? You're talking about guys that have won MVPs, home run derbies, have taken over the game in an era where homers were coming by the bunches. I mean, you're just looking at a guy, and by the way, like Will said, he's a Platinum Glove winner. If you're looking at him behind the plate, that's what he was really known for when he came up in the plate. Like, this is something that has started to develop in his game. He's always been a guy that can slug, but the ability to do it for a little bit of average too, I think, is the most impressive thing. And Seattle was if not the worst offense in baseball last year, right? I think they've always been a team that's been able to pitch. They've always been a team that's been able to play good defense, obviously with Julio Rodriguez in center field. But the bats was something that was missing. And now you have this guy, add this guy to the mix. I mean, it's special to watch. And, you know, you're looking at a Mariners team, if they hit, I believe they can make a little bit of a run in the playoffs.
It's been incredible to watch. Let's go ahead and switch gears here to the highly anticipated debut of right-hander Chase Burns, the #2 overall pick in last summer's draft. The Reds called him up, and he will make his MLB debut Tuesday night against the New York Yankees. Julian, what are your early expectations for him? And tell us everything we need to know about Burns.
Blow-away stuff, 98 to 100-mile-per-hour fastball. And look, he's doing it with, I believe, one of the better managers in the game. The way they've been able to pair Hunter Green and now this guy, watch out. I mean, you're looking at a team that has Ellie De La Cruz, you know, and obviously they've been able to pitch. And you're looking at a team that I think can sort of is making a little bit of noise in that National League. You know, I think this is the team that had all the tools, and they weren't able to put it together. Now you add a Hall of Fame manager like Terry Francona to the mix. You add a guy like this to the mix. I mean, it's gonna be a tough time for a lot of teams in the National League.
We'll see if he can live up to all the expectations come Tuesday night. Well, one team, Will, who is exceeding expectations are the Angels, only 2.5 games back from the AL wild card. What's impressed you most?
So I hate to rain on this parade, but I don't know if they're necessarily playing better baseball in general, but they are finding ways to win, and that's the name of the game. I get that, right? They're finding ways to win the game. But I went under the hood to look at what is the Los Angeles Angels, to figure out what the heck is going on with them. And come to find out, I'm going to throw some stats at you. They're 24th in team ERA. They're 22nd in runs per game. They're 29th in batting average. They don't take walks. They're almost the bottom of the league in that. They strike out a ton. 29th in baseball. The one thing they do really well is hit the home run, and they're 3rd in baseball, just behind the Dodgers and the Yankees in home runs per game. So they have timely home runs. They're hitting a lot of 3-run home runs, and I don't think it's sustainable. When that's the only thing you do well is hit home runs, and you're not necessarily getting guys on base, you're not taking walks, you don't have traffic, you're not pitching, I just don't expect them to keep winning these ball games. So like I said, I don't mean to rain on this parade. They are winning ball games. They did beat Houston. They are beating some good teams, but I don't think their style of baseball is going to get them where they're trying to go.
Listen, all I heard, nothing but facts from our own Will Middlebrooks there on the LA Angels. Julian McWilliams joining us as well on CBS Sports HQ as you take a look at some of the notable games going on tonight in the league. Again, 7:10 first pitch, Yankees and Reds. Our nightcap, Red Sox and the Angels.